Hi, I'm Sheila McKenna. I am the founder and creator of Ket Cosmetics, Makeup for the Digital Age, and we're here at the Media Summit doing airbrush makeup and traditional makeup techniques specifically for high-definition television formats. I hope you enjoy the show.
How did you get to people that are completely different and light them so that they do? Okay, remember that you're going to have a light, okay, that is your key light, your frontal light that you're going to do. But you have the rim lights and you have the backlights that you can treat a little bit. And remember what we did there when we brought the model and put lights in different angles? You have to play with that part, okay? Because the contrast is going to be also how they dress, and you might be able to do the key light for that person. You might be able to, what we call cheat, because you can have the good camera, put it in autopilot, and that's it. It's supposed to work. Manufacturer will sell you a camera and tell you that. Just go ahead and put it in, it'll work, they're great. And you set it up and it doesn't. You need the video people. You need the people that really know how to use it. And when I do some projects, I do have a digital camera, and I look at what I'm doing, I take a picture. Go away and analyze that picture. Because I'm looking at it and I'm seeing what the problems are. I can analyze. Sometimes you can do it on the fly. Most of the recommendation that I do to people that do lighting is that they control the lighting board from the room where the control room is, next to the video person. Because the person doing video, person doing light should be sitting in the same room, side by side, talking to each other. Looking at a monitor that's going out, not at something that is like this in the studio. You can fix all this you want to. It gets to video, it goes out, you have no control. I equate lighting to be an artist that paints. These are our brushes right here. You know, they're different lights, and we said, okay, you have to select. And that's what we do, and that's what they do.
This makeup that we first developed is called the hydro formulation, and it was the answer to the immovable airbrush makeups that were alcohol-based, that if you were to make a mistake, you would have to take off the whole face and start over. But with this, I could tap it out with a little bit of product, like so, you know, and use that, neutralize. I could use a brush, fingers, get a moderate amount of coverage. If I use the airbrush, I can cover a tattoo. We learned that we could get a regulator that would regulate the voltage. So if I'm at 6 psi, pounds per square inch, that's the air pressure, I could be at 6 volts. As where the large compressors are running at 110, they get very hot, you can only leave them on for 25 minutes, they may burn out, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of issues with the larger compressors, which we never experienced. We'll do trade shows and leave this on for 10 hours, like it's on now, and we'll forget that it's on.
But you'll see with this powder, it's basically setting the foundation and getting rid of shine, but it's not making me look super matte.
With each level, then I'll just apply a fine layer of powder. More so in the T-zone, because I kind of like when someone turns to the side, and then this area here, you'll see that sheen. And the reason why we don't produce matte foundations is because if this was all matte, let's face it, it's the most delicate skin on the face. This is where fine lines are being accentuated with heavy makeup and matte formulations. So I can leave that to look, it gives like a healthy sheen there.
10 years ago, didn't have a Spanish language production capacity anywhere near the size that it has today. It was an audience that was underserved in the US and an audience also that was underserved in Latin America. And in about 1995, people realized that there was an audience there that wanted to buy toothpaste and other stuff, you know, and that you could sell programs that were specifically oriented towards that audience. Now that audience wasn't so big, so people wouldn't pay the kinds of budgets, but we do telenovelas here. We do about 10 telenovelas a year, and I think their per episode cost a little higher than in the Caribbean, but still, by US standards, $30,000 per episode, pretty inexpensively made. And I think that that's the future here in Miami as well. So what we're beginning to see is the people that work in that genre field, the Spanish language television business, now want to be in the Spanish language movie business. And so they're taking some of that same expertise, some of the same stars that they've seen in the telenovelas and sort of moving them into into areas where they can make films, and those films will do well because the audiences are already used to those stars and seeing those people, and they're done for a budget. I mean, they're done for a price that ends up making it so that you can make money on those things.
The TTFC, and they also have wonderful incentives for anyone coming to make films in Trinidad and people making films in Trinidad as well.
In terms of making contact, whether through the film office or through any local producer, what you want is obviously a production coordinator to help you in terms of putting the project together. I mean, and that would include crew, what size crew, locations. I mean, obviously, if you're shooting for 6 days, that's not going to be 5,000 US. And if you're shooting on film, I mean, it's all of those parameters that would have to be taken into consideration. But certainly, if you're coming and you want to do a real small unit, you can be effective and economical in terms of what you have to spend.